So again, welcome to our first financial wellness workshop with Finllect. And Finllect, I'll let Monica, our workshop lead, introduce herself and Finllect, and then get us started. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Loud and clear? Okay, brilliant.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Monica, and I am, somebody who's going to guide you through or just kind of speak to you about a couple of things that are very, very important for us, especially at this age in this post-COVID world, right? And it's, of course, around financial wellness, and we're going to talk about money and break a lot of stereotypes that are generally surrounding us when we think about money, right? So money is always a topic that you hear your parents or adults talk about, but every time it comes to us, it's either, oh, can I have pocket money, or I need to buy something, so can I borrow some money, right? But today we're going to break some barriers, have an interesting discussion, and for this I need you to be super active and receptive. We're going to discuss some very basic things about money, and if you have some experience budgeting or saving or doing some quick hacks and tips and tricks, then this is your moment to shine. So open up and let's discuss these things, right? Cool. So for starters, who am I and why am I the right person to be talking to you, right? So like I said earlier, my name is Monica and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Finllect, right? Finllect is a startup that does exactly what I'm doing today, but through a tech platform. Because we can't meet you every day and every time you have to make a budget or do something with your money, we've built an app or we've built a solution that you can download on your phone and just kind of start exploring and understanding this topic better on your own, right? In addition to Finllect, I'm very, very passionate about education and about, helping people grow and learn in different ways. So in the past, I've built a couple of other startups as well that are surrounded or are focused on education. One was a social impact project for blue collar workers, and the other was for middle school students, right? So very close to what age group you are in at the moment. But enough about me, right? So let's get right into it. I've heard a couple of introductions from a couple of people today, and I'm really excited that all of you are, in on this and you're as interested and excited as I am, because this is not always the case, right? So let's keep that enthusiasm going and get started. Who can tell me the answer to a simple question, right? Why do you think we generally mismanage money, or why do you think our parents or adults around us keep telling us you don't know about money and you don't know what to do with it? Can anybody tell me? Please feel free to switch on your mic and your camera and just have an open conversation. Anybody?
Can I?
Right here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it's like a taboo thing for our society about money because they think it's something children shouldn't have because they think that money changes people in some way or the other. And it's something that is controversial and not good for kids. And growing up, actually, like pocket money was also a thing for us. So it's like it helps us in a good way and in a bad way because sometimes we could use it in a bad form. So that is there as well. I think that would be it.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you, Nabiha, for sharing that with us. Anybody else would like to take a shot at this question? Why do you think people keep saying you don't know how to manage money?
I would like to say something about it.
Yes, go ahead.
I think because our parents work hard to get money, and they think that we are just studying in school and thinking about our life and planning whatever going on in our life. So that's why they do not think that we also can think about financial stuff also, as well as because we are studying about financial stuff. We can also deal with them. So that's the reason they think we can't manage, I guess.
Yes, 100%. So both of you, Nabiha and Ahmed, you've gotten it very, very right, right? Our parents or adults or our guardians, or just generally people who are older than us or who have ever earned money in their life, always think that somebody who's younger does not understand it. But the truth is that all of us are using money in some shape or form in our lives, right? It's not necessary for us to start earning money, to start thinking about it, right? I mean, somebody who's earning 40,000, dirhams or dollars in a year can still be rich, and somebody who's earning $500,000 a year can still be poor, right? The only difference between these two people is their attitude and their relationship with money, and how well or not well they manage it, right? So three of the basic things that you see on the screen right now are things that make us mismanage money, right? One is we don't know enough about it. We've never really actively thought about it. Another thing is, with money, a lot of other emotions kind of well up. If you have a lot of it, you tend to become a little careless. If you don't have enough, then you become a little a little bit stingy with it, or you become a little stressed when you don't have enough of it, right? And the third most important thing is that what money is to your parents, or what money meant years ago, is not the same thing today, right? It has changed, it has evolved, just like how our needs and wants have changed and evolved, right? So these are the three main things that contribute to us not knowing how to manage money. But today we're going to have a discussion to exactly start addressing these challenges and find a way to kind of come up with simple actions that make it easier for us to start, having a positive relationship with money. Cool. So who's going to tell me what financial wellness is? Right? We've heard about mental health awareness. We've heard about physical awareness. We've heard about, educational awareness. But what is financial wellness? What is financial awareness? And what does it mean to us? Right? Some of you are in 10th grade. Some of you are in 8th grade. How is this important to us? Who can tell me?
Mm, I guess in when for example, if I'm 10th grade, tomorrow after tomorrow there'll be a party, and if I do not manage my money, for example, if I get on Eid a 1,000 dirhams, and if I do not manage those cash in future, if they, for example, if I need in my party or something, I need to buy a suit, I won't be able to buy it because I don't have enough money. I didn't manage my money. So financial wellness is basically managing our money, our financial life.
Okay. Interesting. What else? Anybody else wants to try?
Uh, may I?
Yes. Go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, sure. Can we say that financial awareness is the ability or skills that are used to manage financial resources efficiently at personal levels throughout our life cycle?
Yes, 100%. I think you've gotten the definition very accurately, right? So what Bugs Bunny is doing in this GIF is basically he has, a bunch of notes lying around, and he's equally distributing it or figuring out what goes where, right? And the people who can do this well are the ones who are happy in their lives or satisfied with what they have, right? A very common, I'm sure you guys know your language, Urdu, right? So a very common thing that we say in Hindi and Urdu is pair utne phailao jitni chadar hai, right? Which means, spend as much as you actually have in your pocket, right? And this is super important for us to maintain our financial wellness. Now, the only way for us to know how much we should spend or save, or what we should do with our money, is if we know how much we have, right? And the only way to understand this is if we keep a track of what is coming in, what is going out, right? So that's step number one. What I want you guys to do is, you don't have to share this, right? You can keep this to yourselves, and you can keep repeating this activity in the weeks to come. Make set up a diary for yourself, or on your phone keep a note, right? Let's say your parents give you weekly pocket money. Write down how much they're giving you, and every time you spend it somewhere, just write it down, right? Very in a short form or some way. Just try to build this habit. Write it down. First step is knowing what's coming in and what's going out, right? If you start with this, automatically you're building an attitude or a habit that's positive with money, right? Only when you're aware of what you have and where you're spending it can you start figuring out what you need to improve, and what gaps you have. So for example, I'll give you my story. So I used to spend a lot of money on food. Yeah. And food is very, very important to me. I like to have new, interesting things almost every week. But I never realized that I'm spending so much money and I'm wasting it in doing things that don't necessarily give me the happiness that it should. I was investing in money, in food, and I was spending a lot of money, to get different kinds of things. But once I started tracking where my money is going and how much is going in food, I started taking a step back and figuring out a way to cut back and start managing that well. So that is financial awareness, and that's what you need to start thinking about as well. Always remember, you do not need to start earning money to actually start managing it, right? So no excuses of, oh, but I don't earn money, so why should I manage it, right? You're still getting it from somewhere. Your parents are spending their time and effort to earn that money and give it to you, right? So that's a little bit about what it means, what financial wellness is, what financial awareness is. The next step is trying to figure out what this money means to you, right? So who can tell me? I think we can quickly do 4 or 5 people. Tell me in one word what money means to you today. Who can go first?
Something that keeps our daily life going on.
Okay. Survival. Okay. Nice. Anybody else?
It's a basic need.
It's a basic need. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What
I
else?
think it's our hard work that pays us off.
Okay. All right. What else?
Reward.
It's a reward. Okay. Okay. So everybody thinks about money as for survival. Nobody thinks of buying nice shoes and nice clothes and going out and, partying and eating nice food. Everybody's thinking about money as basic necessity. Is that it?
Yep. I guess.
I think it could add up for a luxury if we had like an excess of it or something which is more than what we actually need.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does anybody else want to give any final notes or ideas?
I guess everyone can live without luxuries. That's why everyone is just giving definition of simple, basic definition of money.
Okay, interesting. So, this is what you have said today is an accurate representation from what it means to you. But I'll tell you why, right? For those of you, it's echoing, right? So, no problem. Can I speak? Yeah. Okay, cool. So for those of you who have said that money is a necessity or it's a way to survive, it means that your priorities are, things like getting the basic things sorted, or having good access to education, or having the bare minimum in your life, which is your priority, and that's perfect. For those of you who think that money is luxury and it's about having expensive things and about having a lavish life, then those are your priorities in life, right? That means these are the things that make you happy. Now, I am nobody to tell you if that is the right priority to have or not, but you need to identify what money means to you today to be able to identify your priorities and then work or manage your money accordingly. So again, I'll share my example, and then if anybody wants to follow on with an example of their own, you're more than welcome, right? So 2 years ago, I was under this impression that I desperately need a car, right? I need a car today. It has to be big, expensive, and amazing. Like, it has to be the car of my dreams, right? Let's say a Mini Cooper. My first car has to be a Mini Cooper. And this would mean I would put in a huge part of my life savings to buy one car, right? And a car in Dubai means it comes with petrol, it comes with maintenance, it comes with a lot of added expenses as well, right? So I was in this rush to buy the car, and we had finalized it and everything was good. And then I had a conversation with my parents, who have been driving or using the same basic car for the past 10 to 12 years in their life, right? And they said to me that at this age, investing in a brand new car is a waste of your money, because you still have your education to pursue, you still have other things that you're spending your money, you still have other priorities that you first need to meet, right? When I understood this, or when I had a reality check of what is a priority to me, automatically on my list of important things to buy or list of things to do with my money, the car slid lower and lower on the list, right? And it became less important. And it did not affect my happiness or my well-being, right? I didn't feel like, oh, I'm such a loser, why did I not get the car? Or, what is this? I have the money, why can't I spend it? I was not unhappy with my decision. But this was because I was aware, and I had it very clear in my head what my priorities are and what this money can do for me, right? So I turned around the situation and started investing that money in smaller chunks to get access to certifications, courses, starting my own business. And that made me genuinely happy, right? So if you figure out what money means to you, and from that, if you're able to understand what your priorities are in life today, then that's going to be your first step to figuring out what budget plan, what savings plan, or what approach to managing your money will work for you. Okay, is that super clear? Am I boring you? Is it going, at
Yeah,
the
ma'am, can you hear
No,
me
it's
now?
clear. It's
It's great.
definitely
end?
really clear.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Cool. Yes, I can hear you. Who's this, Harris? Yes, tell
Yeah,
me.
ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I'm familiar with this one because my father is doing job also, and as a side hustle, he used to sell the cars also. So I'm actually 19 years old, so I like to do these all things. So actually, I'm handling that all the car business. So
Right.
I know how to spend all the money. My father is like, if my father is having a budget of 10,000, so I'm checking online whether which car is cheaper and going to the show that car market. So in my budget, I'm buying the car, and and keeping the 500 or something like 400 profit on it, and I'm selling it and keeping all the records,
Brilliant.
and I'm doing this.
That's amazing. So that's how you create a
Yeah.
side hustle, right? That's how you start diversifying your income. We'll come to this super interesting point. And Harris, we might ask you to share more stories about how you figured out you can start earning, money without by just helping your dad and doing some basic research and doing some basic work on the side. So very good, Harris. Keep it up. And you should be talking about
Yeah.
this more and teaching your friends how you do this so that they can, employ this in their own lives. So brilliant. Thanks for sharing that, Harris. Cool. So I hope it's
Yeah, ma'am.
clear question is so important and why you need to do some homework and sit down maybe today and just think about this and write it down for yourself. You don't necessarily have to go on a mountaintop and shout it out to everybody else, but you should know what money means to you. Cool. So, we spoke about why it's important. We spoke about what it means to you and all of that. But how can we become better, right? How can we actually take actionable steps to start becoming better with money, right? So, some of the very basic things that anybody will tell you, that your parents will tell you, that an older sibling will tell you, is that learn how to manage what you have well, right? If you're getting 50 dirhams in a week, learn how to use that well. If you're getting 5,000 dirhams in a week, learn how to use that well. And don't spend everything on day one, right? Break it down, put it in different boxes, different budgets, and then start managing these resources better. We'll dive into how you can do this and what kind of tips you can use. But number one is figuring out a plan on how you're going to use these resources well, right? Because money is a resource. Next is stay informed, right? If today you're really excited about investment, and we were just having this conversation earlier, right? You're very excited, you have some savings and you want to invest today. You've downloaded eToro, it's very easy, very simple, and everybody's talking about it. It's very cool to own cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So I'm going to do it, right? No. Do you know what Bitcoin means? Do you know what cryptocurrency is? Do you know what, the return on the investment is? Do you know what you need to do when your money is sitting in the, exchange account? Or no, you don't, right? So step number one is to know how to use your resources well. Step number two is to stay informed at all times. If you're looking to invest, there's many ways for you to make safer investments that are easier to handle, that require smaller sums of money. Start exploring, doing some research, like, how our friend earlier was telling us that he did some research and started figuring out ways to sell cars at, within budget and make a profit, right? Third thing is set a system in place. Nothing at all works if you do it haphazardly. Like, you cannot just be like, okay, aaj I'll do this, tomorrow I'll do something else, and then day after tomorrow I'll try something else. No. With money, it has to be a systematic breakdown of what you're going to do. And yes, there are going to be times when randomly you want to buy something and it's on sale and it's going to hit your budget, but you should know what your system is and how overspending or putting your money here and there is going to shake that system, right? So again, a system, this system that I'm talking about, is, you can call it a budgeting plan, a saving plan, or a whatever plan. And and it's different for everybody. Do not copy paste somebody else's budget and say, okay, I've made a budget, I'm very financially aware and I'm very smart with my money, right? When it comes to managing your money, and today I can give you a solid example. My father is 50 years old, and till date he manages his finances through an Excel sheet every week. It is something he takes out 30 minutes to do every single week, which is why he's been able to manage his lifestyle. He's been able to manage different ups and downs in his life without it affecting his finances, without it affecting his mental health or his family situation. Okay, so cool. Now everybody has their own system, right? I want to know what system you have in place right now, right? What is your way of managing your money? Does anybody want to share their stories?
Yeah, ma'am. I want to.
Okay, go ahead, Haris.
Yeah, ma'am. This due to coronavirus, many of the people faced many financial problems. So, like my father was doing job, and I was doing this side hustle, buying and selling business also. So, I am very interested in this. So, like my father, if my father is having 10,000 dirhams, so I'm going and checking the market price of that car, and from there every day if I'm checking, so I would know the minimum price and the maximum price. So by just knowing that information, so I'm if the car price is cheap on some other day, so I'm buying that car, and on keeping 500 profit or 400 profit, I'm selling that car. And
I
I
have an
don't,
interesting question,
yeah,
right? What do you do with that extra profit? Do you
that
spend it all?
that no, I don't spend, but I just save it, and next time I will buy a better car, like on up model. Like before if I buy 2005 model car, so next time
Mhm.
I will save that money, and next time I will buy like 2010 model car or 2012 model car. So like this my business, or I'll get more profit in that one.
Great. So you're like a professional businessman then. You know exactly how to turn your profits and then reinvest it in your business, and also use some of it to maybe improve your current situation, buy something you need, do something for your family. So kudos, great. I mean, I think Haris is the pro among us today, right? He's even better than me in some aspects. Who else would like to share something that they have done to manage their finances? It doesn't have to be a pro system like Haris is. It can be something very in the house. So if anybody, let's say we've paid something to the grocery guy or the laundry guy now, and he's given us change, and we have this really Rais habit, which is, oh, keep the change, right? He says, no, I will keep the change. She's managed to save a lot of money by collecting these, small coins and putting it in her piggy bank. Disconnected.
Oh,
Did I
Yeah,
get?
ma'am, your voice was lagging.
oh my
Oh
God,
my
I
god,
got
I got
disconnected.
disconnected. I don't know where I was when I was saying something.
You're back though.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, great, cool. So what's the last thing you guys heard? I was just talking to myself. Hello?
Keep the
That
change.
I am
That's
pro.
right. You guys can hear me, right? The last thing I said was Haris is a pro. That's what they heard. Okay, great. So who else wants to share some systems that you have employed in your life? Anybody?
And
Um,
okay,
yeah, no problem.
no, no, you go.
What is
So for me, I actually have sometimes the people who supply the water. So it's like we buy coupons for them. So I had the changes all the time when I keep the coupon. So it's like when there's like next time coming, I would keep the changes, and if there is like less in any point, I would use my changes that I have to add up and buy a new one. So I think that would be a
okay?
simple way.
Brilliant. Very
Yeah.
nice. This is a very jugadu way of managing your finances. Okay,
Yes.
who else? Anybody else would like to share?
And I was saying, I don't do this stuff,
Yes.
but my dad does. Should I tell about my dad?
Yeah, sure. Of course. Go ahead.
So same as Haris, my dad also do job in the side businesses to buy a car and sell. But
Mhm.
Haris said all about the business stuff. So with the garage stuff, there is a garage in Vises where
Mhm.
my dad basically went to that garage many years ago and told them that I will bring car to your garage and you will give me some particular percent about it. It was like
Okay.
50%. I don't remember fixed amount, but
Mhm.
so my dad, whenever he sell car to someone, he give them the garage card and tell them that
Mhm.
go to their garage, say my name. If you have any source of maintenance you need in a car or any service, just go
Mhm.
there and say my name. They will give you some percent off. So just like that, my dad have given so many people so many cards like doctors and so many people
Oh,
like
nice.
my yeah my dad have
So
actually
this is actually how influencers work, right? So it's a referral program. Your dad is like a car influencer, which is so cool, you know. He doesn't even have to be on Instagram to earn commission, which is fantastic, right?
yeah. And as well as he made friends with doctors and engineers. So whenever he have any issues healthy, he is not healthy and he is not feeling fit, he would just call a doctor and ask him what should medicine should I buy or in pharmacy. What they also give them discount and stuff because my dad is working for them in garage stuff and maintaining their stuff. My
Great.
dad
So
even don't
it's
have to do anything. It's just sit
no,
at
he
home
is
and
doing something. I mean, you know, his service and his credibility and the way he manages the deal is what makes him unique, and it's what works really well for him. So yeah, I mean, you should definitely take tips from your dad and figure out ways
yeah.
to do this or like replicate this model for maybe different things, right? It's not just about cars. You can do this. This is what influencers do. They post pictures of products or things, and then they start, you know, earning through referrals and bringing in commissions. So yeah, I mean, great. That's another great tip. Can we take one more tip on how to manage your money?
Yeah,
What?
ma'am. One thing more. We should not lie
Yeah,
while
Haris.
while doing our business. Like if we'll be like honestly selling our car to someone, so he will next time he will become our customer because we are just giving him a good car. So next time
Hmm.
also he will buy from us, and there will
Yeah,
be
so building
some
credibility.
good relationship between the customer and that. So like that only we can get some skills and we'll learn more and more in our life.
Yeah, great. Cool. One more person quickly. I want to hear a female voice now, at least one.
May
Anybody?
I?
Yeah, go ahead. Mari? Mari.
Mariam,
Mariam.
maybe.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, tell us,
So,
Mariam.
what I really like to do is not something very, I guess, important, but what I've really built a practice amongst my family members is that we have a separate box in our kitchen. We've kept it in our kitchen, and what we like to do is we collect the coins in it. So, if we have something like small grocery products or something that we have to buy, we use those coins to buy the groceries. Just one or two things or something like that. So I think that somehow helps.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that's you know, a small or not important thing. What's the bigger or the more I would say interesting takeaway from this is that you're all building a habit together, right? And
Yeah.
it's the habit of not being wasteful. Even if it's just 25 fills or 50 fills, I think if you're building a habit to put it in a box or to put it in a like in a piggy bank type of, you know, situation, and then use that for something when, you know, you have to pay an extra 50 fills to the grocery guy. I think it's a brilliant system, and you should keep kind of scaling that up. So take it like move it from just being collecting change to actually collecting or keeping aside a small amount of your pocket money and start, you know, instead of putting it in a piggy bank, start putting it in a bank account, right? That's how you scale these small habits that you build when you're younger. Cool, amazing. So great stories, and thank you for sharing. You know, super interesting to hear. But the next step, or I hope you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next step is to break it down, right? We've understood what the overall idea is: be more resourceful, be you know, informed, and also start building systems. But how should we do this, right? We can start doing this in three simple ways, right? Start taking control of the money that you have and start managing it yourself. Make your own financial goals, whether it's short term financial goals or long term financial goals. Start making your own decisions, right? And the third is once you've set your financial goals, start actively making better financial decisions to complement those goals. Simple example, right? If I start managing my own money, I know how much money I'm making, right? And how much money is coming into my bank account, or just in my hand for the week. Now I've started managing my own money. I know I receive 500 dirhams in 2 weeks. What can I do, right? I can start setting up my own financial goals. I can say, with this 500 dirham, I'm going to save 100 dirhams every week, and then sign up for a course or sign up for a ice skating class or whatever. And then, to make sure I stick to this financial goal that I've made and this budget that I've created for myself, I'm going to make smarter financial decisions. So if somebody says, oh, let's go for chai, or let's go for McDonald's burger or something, every day of the week, I'm going to say no. I don't have the budget for this, or I just don't want to do it, right? I have other more important things where my money is waiting to be used. Cool. So what does this cycle mean for us? It basically means that we need to know how to budget, how to save, and how to diversify our income and start, bringing in some money into the system, right? I'm not asking you to become Elon Musk or the next big entrepreneur and start earning millions of, US dollars. I'm asking you to start small, right? But it's important for you to start actively thinking about these things, especially now in this, you know, post-COVID world, because relying completely on our parents to take up all the financial stress, all of the financial burden, and in addition to that, us having our own little requirements and needs and desires, pressurizing them is not good for their financial health and their financial wellness, right? And of course, they're your guardians, so they are your responsibility just like you are theirs. So today we're going to talk about how you can budget, save, and earn. Is everybody with me? Has everybody followed what I'm saying? Are you still interested?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
ma'am.
Okay, great. So, B for budget. Why is it important to start? Who's going to quickly tell me why is it important to start budgeting?
I think it's important because then we will have a clear idea what our needs are and what we can do about it. So,
Okay, great. What else? Why
we
else is
can we can find out where we are spending extra and we can manage that. We can reduce it.
okay? Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I mean, to prevent overspending our money and like know that where how much money we are able to spend and how much we need to save.
Okay, that's absolutely right. So one really good example is, we have 24 hours in the day, right? Why do we not eat all of the time or sleep all of the time? We ration it out, right? We say, okay, we're going to eat 3 times, we're going to sleep for 8 hours, we're going to have 8 glasses of water. This is what creates a balance in our life, right? So if it were not for budgeting or breaking down the money that comes into your hand, then you just spend it anywhere and everywhere and not even know where your money is disappearing. So one very toxic habit that a lot of adults have, especially once they start earning their own money, maybe their first job or their first business that they start, is that at the beginning of the month when the check comes in, everybody's rich. Okay, everybody is going out all the time, they're spending their money, they're buying clothes, they're doing all kinds of things, right? But the third week of the month or the fourth week of the month is just torture for them, right? They're eating just bread or they're just drinking water and sleeping. And this is real life scenarios where people don't know how to budget, right? And they don't know how to create that balance in their lives so that the first week of the month and the last week of the month is equally relaxing for them, right? So if you want to take away the stress from financial management or taking care of your money and generally from your life, you must know how to budget. So how can you do this, right? There's multiple ways you
Ma'am,
to set a system. Sorry, yes? Who's
I
that?
want to add something.
Yeah, sure, Hari.
Muhammad Haris.
Haris. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, like you have said that in the first week of the our salary, we are rich. So, like, if you are spending without thinking and just keep on spending, so like on the fourth week, we won't have any money to spend. So we'll take some debt or loan from some bank or from another person. So
Right.
just and our next time if our salary come and we have to give like 1,000 we have taken from that person. So if we give 1,000 from the salary, so next time and then again at the fourth week, then again in the fourth week we have to borrow the again 1,000. So like that, it gets very harder for the person to survive, especially in this foreign
Exactly.
countries like UAE.
Mm. Right. So this is what credit
So
card
like this
companies
we
live
can't.
off of, right? This is how credit card, right? So they just push you to spend a lot of money and say, okay, no problem, we'll cover you and we'll take care of it. When you get your money, you can pay us. But this is actually building a very toxic habit for yourselves, right? So when you're 21, 22, or even 18 or 19 and you have this habit, it's fine. But as you, I mean, it's not fine, but it's acceptable. But as you grow older and you have bigger commitments, you have other people who are depending on you to manage the money, and you still have this behavior, that's when things turn ugly, right? That's when you see a lot of older people uh, just struggling to make ends meet, even though they have a big check coming in every month, right? Cool. So how can you start? How can you do it today? Now, there's two levels of budgeting. For those of you who have already figured out a budget for yourself, that's great. But here's a way to break things down for yourself, right? Out of the 100% of money that you have, try to put down separately 50% for all the necessities, right? Let's say for you, necessities mean your education, like your textbooks, your online course bills, all of that, or your sports equipment if you're into sports, or your art supplies if you are an artist, things like that. These are your necessities. 50% of any money that you get, if you get 50 dirhams, 50% of that. If you get 5 dirhams, 50% of that. That's how budgeting works. That's how you build your system and learn how to stick with it, right? The second cut, or the second piece of the pie, goes to your wants, right? Things that you really want and things that you know are a little extra and you can live without, but you have the budget for it. So for example, you want to upgrade your phone, you want to buy new shoes, you want to get a really expensive art kit, or you want to join a class that's not necessarily important for you, then that comes under your wants, right? And of course, the last and most important piece of the pie is your savings, right? Please don't be under the impression that only adults need to save, right? Everybody needs to save. You need to save today because, like I said, if you're setting financial goals, this savings is going to help you reach those goals, right? If not, savings are always the best way to act as a backup plan, right? If you initially, when you're trying to stick with the budget, trying to make a balance and things don't work out, then the savings helps you kind of manage the overspending or manage the wants that you don't know how to manage really well, right? Now, what's really, really important to drill into your head is that when you receive money, the first cut goes to your savings, right? It does not go to your wants or your necessities. You always have to blindly take 20% out and put it on the side. The second cut goes to your necessities. So first you take 20% out, don't touch it, forget about it. Then you take the 50% out and figure out a way to deploy it in different places. And finally, if there's something left after strict following of your system and sticking to your budget, then you think about spending it on your wants. Okay. For those of you who find this to be a little bit more tricky or difficult and you don't know the distinction or the separation between your necessities and your wants, then what you can do is use the 80-20 budget method, right? What this means is whatever money you get, again, blindly take the 20% out and put it on the side, forget about it, don't touch it, okay? And the rest 80% you can use for your spending, right? The more you practice this, the 80-20 budgeting system, the more you'll start identifying the differences or the like the boundary between your needs and your wants, right? And once you've figured that out, then you can start deploying the 50-30-20 budgeting system. Cool. Super simple, easy to understand.
Yes, it's easy to understand. I think I'm
Okay, brilliant. So we still have 15 minutes. So I'm gonna move a little bit faster. Okay. So This we already know, right? Setting long-term financial goals. We've already spoken about this, but what we have discussed is short-term financial goals. Things like, okay, I want to buy something, or I want to sign up for a class, or I want to buy my mom something, or my mom needs something and I want to get it for her. These are short-term financial goals. Long-term financial goals are equally important for us as young people, because this helps us understand the value of the budgeting that we're doing. Now here's how, right? So for example, you're in 12th grade or you're in 10th grade, and now you think that, you know, you've done a side hustle, you started giving tuitions, or you started making arts and crafts items and started selling it, and you've made some money, right? You've made this money, and now you want to tell your parents that I want to go to a better school, or I want to go to a better drawing class, or a better singing class, or something, anything, right, that you think is going to improve your life, your personality. That becomes your long-term financial goal, right? So if you want to go to a better university, you need to start studying today, start building your portfolio, start, you know, becoming an all-rounder, right? Same thing applies to your financial goals. If you want to be able to afford something 5 years from now, then you need to start setting your long-term financial goals. It's not easy, it's not at all easy, but the more you push yourself to stay informed, the easier it gets. It becomes a habit, and then that habit becomes makes things simpler for you. Cool. Next is saving strategies, right? So how can you master saving as a skill? It's very, very difficult to take that chunk of 20% and put it on the side and forget about it. Okay. But when you realize why you're putting that 20% on the side, that's when you start taking it seriously, right? So the reason why we put that outside, or why savings is so important, is because it gives you, like I said, a solid backup plan, right? If tomorrow, God forbid, you know, your parent loses their job, or your sister you know, wants to go for a class but your mom says no, you have your savings account or your savings to help somebody out, right? And savings is a pool of money that you only touch when everything else under the sun has failed you, right? Your wants, necessities, needs, your extra money, everything is gone. That's when you touch your savings account. Today, one homework for all of you is to go back and sit with your parents and ask them what their saving strategy is. Okay. And then figure out a way to use that saving strategy for yourself as well. So if your parents are, you know, doing managing a fixed deposit account or a mutual fund investment or something, anything, right? It can be anything at all. Or they have a bank account where they just stash money to save, right? Figure out why they do that and how they do that, and then try to imitate that at a smaller level, right? And try to build that as a practice or a habit. Also remember, when you're building your budget, do not forget to keep that savings 20% always at the top of your mind. Don't wait to spend everything, finish your money, and then whatever's left goes into savings, right? That's not the attitude you want to build for the long term. Cool. Another thing that's really important is to pay yourself first, right? This is something that a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who do side hustles tend to forget, right? Whenever you receive any amount of money, you tend to, especially if you have, you know, a mindset where you know where your money should go, you have a budget and all of that, you tend to put that money in different pockets very easily. And you very casually forget about yourself, right? You forget to think that today, if you're spending money or if you're doing something for yourself, you're actually investing in your improvement. Remember the classes I was talking about? So if you're an artist, you want to go to a better art class, or if you're a dancer, you want to go to a better dance class, right? That is you investing in yourself. And for you to use your savings or a small chunk of your savings to do that for yourself is not bad use of money, right? Of course, it has to be backed with proper justification. It has to make sense. But if you do that, don't be guilty that you overspent or you, you know, didn't use your money in the right place. That is something you are allowed to do, because the end goal of having money is to be able to create a better life, or to create more happiness and prosperity for yourself first, and then for what society says or what your status looks like, etc. Cool. Are you still with me? Is everybody still with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Great. So this is about side hustling, which is the way you build your income, right? Now, each one of us has something to offer. When I was in 10th standard, my side hustle was giving tuitions because I loved teaching and talking about different subjects and all of that, right? For my friend who's an excellent dancer, it was giving free dance classes and then converting that free model into training sessions because she had space in her house to do that, right? You need to find your X factor. So, for example, Haris is X factor, or I think Ahmed also mentioned his father does this for car selling for commission, right? Their X factor is doing research and being great salesmen, right? That's what they're using to make that extra 500 or make that extra income for themselves. You need to figure out what your X factor is and then map that to a way in which you can actually start earning. It doesn't matter how much, but something to start sustaining yourself. Cool. I would have loved to hear what your X factors are individually, but I am very, very aware that we still have only 10 minutes on the clock. So I'm going to move quickly to the next slide, right? So this is something you can start doing for yourself. It takes some level of sitting down and thinking about it, right? Some easy ideas you can see on the slide are also a little outdated, right? Starting a blog or something. If you want to be an influencer on Instagram, you can do that. I think some of you already have started out on that path. But something also very simple that my sister does, for example, and she's only 12 years old, is that she helps out at home, right? And she says to our parents that if I do X, Y, and Z, then I should get some reward for it, and that reward should be an extra 5 dirhams or something, and then she puts that in her savings or whatever, right? She has a system at the age of 12, which is really interesting. So figure out your little hacks or tricks, right? It's not necessary that you have to wait for your parents to give you pocket money to start sustaining your wants or your needs, right? You can start figuring out something on your own as well. And what that is totally depends on your hobbies, interests, and talents, right? And this is something only you can tell yourself, right? Take a deep dive, try to understand what you're really, really good at, and then talk to people about it and see if they'd actually pay for your services, right? So something that everybody wants to be when they grow up is work at the big four or an MNC where you get a lot of money and all you do is to give presentations and give ideas, right? So some people are really good at that, and those people are called consultants. You can start consulting or talking to your friends and start building your portfolio today. It doesn't matter if you're 10 years old, 12 years old, or 25 years old, right? If you think that you can give great advice or you can support people or help other people find their hobbies and interests, then start doing that, right? Whatever you have as a skill set, start freelancing it, start figuring out how much money people will pay for it, what value you are creating, and exactly how you can attract more and more people, right? It teaches you different things and also helps you bring in some money. Cool. So, as a parting note, what I'm going to say is that we at Finllect are looking for excited, enthusiastic young people who want to break the barrier that surrounds, discussions about money or discussions about the M word, right? And we want you to join us to start creating your own small communities, conducting activities, understanding what Finlect has to offer to young people and how we can help you in budgeting, saving, and managing your money better. And of course, if you think you just want to explore what we do at Finlect, download the app. It's going to be on the iOS store, on the Android store really, really soon, but it's already available on iOS. So if you want to start staying informed, start managing your expenses through one simple tech platform, you can even do that. But please remember that the end goal is to break the stereotype about just around about talking about money, and it's about creating this positive healthy relationship and with money, and starting now, right? Not waiting to be 25 to start thinking about money. So thank you for listening to me talk and for the past 1 hour and staying with me and sharing your stories. And I hope that the form that Bushra has shared, have you already shared it?
Yeah,
Okay.
shared it.
So that she's shared on the chat, you take a look at it, you join the tribe and take this conversation to the next step with me and the Finlect team. And if you are not able to fill the form, here's my direct contact. You can email me, share your stories, and basically become a part of the community. So yeah, thank you, PYF, for having me. It has been a pleasure, and I'm also looking forward to the next session that we have in the next week, I think, right?
Yes, thank you
Cool.
so much, Monica. This has been such a nice, energetic start to our workshop series. So we've got 2 workshops for school students, and then we're doing another workshop series for university students and young professionals. So thank you guys for joining us in the middle of Ramadan on an afternoon for this.
Oh, I've been drinking water the entire time, not realizing. I'm really sorry. I'm not fasting, so I took the liberty to drink. I'm really drink water. I'm really, really sorry. I was not aware.
No
And if I've
problem.
offended somebody, I'm really genuinely very sorry.
So,
No problem at all. And
ma'am,
fun
I
fact,
want
so
to ask you a question.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, Harris. Go ahead.
Ma'am, where to learn this about the stock market exchange and this shares and all? Which is the best area or place or
Right.
institution?
Right. So I think if you just want to get started out, right, one thing is, of course, you can download the Finllect app. We create our content ourselves and we make it very interesting and simple. And we also have different levels. So you can start reading very basic and even really experienced stuff if you want to get started. Another one is I would personally suggest that you start reading or following people who are experts in the field, right? And also follow serious blogs like the Financial Times, the Economic Times, and those kind of I would say platforms to get legit, correct, qualified information instead of reading something off of an app like eToro, which sells investment as a service, because then they'll push you or they'll create a sense of bias, right? But that's my opinion. If you want to start small, just kind of figure things out very simply, read something very easily, then you can even start with the Finllect app, or you can, like I said, read online, listen to experts, listen to a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of interesting podcasts about, not just about how to invest, but also where to invest and how much to invest, and when to pull out, etc. So yeah, you can try these platforms for sure.
Monica, are there any
Yeah, thank you,
platforms you
ma'am.
would recommend where they with stocks? And
Yeah, for sure. So there's one platform called Raseed, right? You can simulate investments in the US market, right? Which is something that's not accessible here. And you can start with as little as $1. Another place that I would say you can practice your investment skills is Smart Crowd, which is a local real estate investment platform that allows you to take smaller chunks of money and invest it in the real estate market, and in a safe way with guaranteed returns, right? That's another place. Another one is, of course, eToro. You can get a dummy account on eToro and test it out. These are great places to get started. But personally, my word of advice would be first understand what investing is, right? Read about it, create a sense of clarity in what you're doing, then set up a dummy account to practice what you've learned, and then go crazy. If you're a pro, then it's your money, you do whatever you like with it. So
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your.
thank you so
No
much for
worries.
sharing that. So the fun fact I wanted to share was today's workshop. We're actually conducting it from a room called Hub 47. It's a new room, a new space that we just launched in the association, like in Dubai. And the whole idea of this room is it's going to be a co-working space where young people, young professional students can get together. They can work. There's going to be programming on innovation, on entrepreneurship, on workshops like these on financial literacy. So we're very excited to bring to our community, to you guys, to students, access to these types of resources so we can start thinking about how to be financially secure and successful from a very young age. It's not something that you should start doing in your university or once you get your first job or start your first business. It should happen well in advance. So before we end, there are a couple of things we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
The first is, can we first take a little group picture? Usually there are a lot more people who switch on their cameras. Can we get a few cams on and take a fun picture? Anyone can switch on their cams? See. No. All right. In that
no
case,
one is
I guess
interested in that.
I think in Ramadan, even more so, everyone is a bit more. There
Oh, we do
go.
have a
Thank
couple
you,
of people.
Zainab.
Cool.
Yes. Can I see a few more
Nice.
people? So another thing we can do is, I'd like us to do is, if we could just all do a thumbs up with the emojis.
Oh
Or
yeah.
with your hands. All right. And thank you, Mariam. So good to see you here. Okay, when I count to 3, guys. Otherwise, it's all
It'll
over the
go.
place. Thank you, Ahmed, for doing it as well. You guys don't need to be that shy. The same as if you were here. So I'm gonna count to 3, and then we're gonna all like press a thumbs up emoji. All right, and then I'm just going to click that picture. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Let me see all those thumbs up coming up. All right, this is great.
We have a few people with a little bit of a lag, but it's cool.
Yeah, all right, perfect. Thank you guys so much for joining us and for being part of the series. I've had wonderful feedback, wonderful interaction. Second order of businesses. So we did promise students who've interacted the most books as giveaways, and we've got 2 books here. We've got the first is Why the Rich Are Getting Richer by Robert Kiyosaki. He's the same guy who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Exactly.
right? This is the book we talked about in our young professionals panel as well, where someone really recommended that you read this. So
it's a very easy read. It's very, very simple to read, and it's got some really great tips. And you know, it's more like it's like you're reading a conversation with your friend or somebody who's an expert in managing their money really well. So this is a great book for that. And of course, if you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, this is a great follow-on book for that. And the other one is the M
Money
Word.
Talk.
Yeah.
Money Talk. Every family needs to have about wealth and their financial future.
That's right.
This is another interesting title. So we're giving away these books. So the idea was that we're going to give them away based on how interactive people have been during the session. So Monica, do you have 2 people in mind?
I think one would definitely be Haris because he shared, you know, a lot about his story and he was very candid. So congratulations, Haris. And I think you can pick the other one if that's okay. Tough one.
So this is tough for me because quite a few of you.
Ma'am, can you repeat again because your voice is lacking from my side.
Oh, great. So Haris, you've won a book. Basically, for sharing your stories and being super candid, you've actually won a giveaway for today. So I think the PYF team will deliver it to you.
Yes, we'll get it to you. So we're looking at books about financial.
Thank you, ma'am.
The person that I think deserves it is Nabiha.
Great.
Nabiha has also been very interactive, but I know a couple of you were also very engaging. So hang in there. We have another session next week. And we hope you guys will come back. So what are we talking about next week?
So next week, we're going to dig a little bit deeper, right? We're going to talk about some more practical tips and tricks. And also we're going to move away from just talking about financial wellness and about financial awareness and really start diving into your habits and how you can break the bad ones and start building some of the ones, or start practicing some of the things that we've discussed today. So it's going to be a more, today's session was also fun and interactive. I mean, I think so. But the next one, the follow-on one, is going to be more of you writing things down and, you know, talking about your affirmations with money and things like that. So that's what we have, for the next session.
Great. All right. So we hope you guys will join us for that. And we hope you filled out your attendance form so that you get your certificate. And you've also looked at Finlect's forms, which I'm going to drop one more time.
Yeah.
So that you can engage with Finlect as well. Do engage with us on Instagram, and we're sending out information by email too. Thank you guys for joining us again, and have a wonderful day. Thanks, Monica.
Great. And if you guys want to reach out to me on a one-on-one basis, Bushra will share my email ID, and I'd be more than happy to speak to you guys.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much. You too.
One more time. No worries, Abiha. Thanks for joining us as always.
Bye.